Board of Trustees meeting to order. You could stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Mr. Groom. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Mr. Easton, if you could take the roll, please.
Mrs. Reed. Mr. Stubbs.
Here.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Next up, I believe we have visitor comments. Do we have any visitor comments, questions, concerns?
I'd like to make a comment, if that's okay.
Yes.
Mark Cross, 7444 Stiver Road, Germantown. I'd like to commend the board on the decision to better inform the residents of German Township and Germantown about the open trustee position. I would again stress the need to keep the selection process as open and transparent as possible. For June 1st special meeting, there was a comment about bringing in new blood to the trustee position. As a trustee, I had 4 years experience. Trustee Stubbs has had 6.5 years of experience, and Trustee Reed has had 2.5 years of experience. Even with that, I think all of us would agree that we are still learning on the job. I feel experience should be a very important criteria for the selection process. If people are looking for new blood, they need to be reminded that 1, 2, or all 3 trustees can be replaced in November 2021 after new candidates have shown the commitment to actually run for the office. Lastly, I want to thank the residents that voiced their support for me at last Monday's meeting. I also have received support via Facebook that I will share with the trustees before the June 17th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Have any other visitor comments? We have a lot of visitors today.
If we have any visitor comments, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and then just state your name and address.
Hi, I'm not sure if you can see me. Can you see me? Okay.
Yes.
My name is Paula Lemke. I live at 78 Mary Place in Germantown, Ohio. I've lived here about 20 years now. We've raised our family here, have 2 still in school. I have not been a regular attendee of meetings. I've been to one recently. Found it to be very interesting. I have been an advocate for this community on many different issues. I've worked as treasurer on a levy committee for a number of years and have worked as a librarian at the public library and at the schools. Have coached many different teams from soccer to swim. My husband, of course, is a teacher in the school, and he's done lots of different things in the community as well. And I don't have anything against Mark Cross or anything like that. I think he's a very great man. I have nothing poor to say about him. So me saying that I'm interested in this isn't saying that I have any issue there. My only thing is that I want to try to help my community. I believe our nation right now is very divided. And our community has been divided over the last several years on many issues. And when I came to the last meeting, I felt like it was very divided. I felt like there was maybe some issues that might not even have anything to do with the township, but that were being made public, and seemed like it was dividing more than it was working for the benefit of our community. I don't think that that's necessarily what anyone's trying to do, but it's definitely how I felt there, and would like to see people work together instead of against each other. Again, I think everyone involved in these meetings is here for the community. And again, I apologize for not being here to know what's caused these divides, but there is definitely, it seemed to me to be a divide. And I I think I would like to have the opportunity to try to help to create a bridge instead of fighting amongst each other. So I now currently, I've been working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for 2 years. I work in the chief scientist's office at the Air Force Research Laboratories. I'm the program manager there. I oversee millions of dollars in spending and help with research and development, both medical and also not only medical. So I have a good bit of experience, and I worked as a realtor in Germantown for 16 years, so I'm very familiar with a lot of procedures and the community. So I just wanted to throw my name into the hat as someone who's interested in trying to work with our township.
Thank you, Paula. Do you have any other visitor comments, or questions, concerns? I'm not seeing anyone. Mrs. Sewell, do you see, you probably have a better vantage point on your computer than I do. Do you see any?
I do not see anybody coming on or off mute, so.
Okay. Perfect. I didn't either. If I'm incorrect, please feel free to let me know, but I don't see anyone unmuting, so I'm going to move forward to the fiscal officer's report.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Reed. First thing is the minutes from the meeting of May 11th. And earlier today, Mr. Stubbs gave me one minor change, which I've already reflected in the master copy. So unless there are any other changes, I think you can approve them as submitted.
I have something that I would like changed on those minutes. On the very bottom, when we talked about the Fouts Fund, I know you put in there that it was a very spirited discussion, and it was. I just, after the way that I was spoke to and the threats and allegations that were made, I feel like there needs to be a more direct or quoted, a more accurate representation of that going on.
Then I would ask Reed to come up with some language that you would like to see, and we'll submit it and wait till next month to vote those approved minutes.
The fiscal officer is responsible for an accurate description of the meeting, so it's really his call on content. Ours is just our input is just to if there's anything that's off or we're misquoted. So I don't understand what the issue is, but I guess we'll wait and see what she comes up with.
I don't feel like it was an accurate representation, so my job is to vote to approve or deny the minutes. Right now, I just feel like they need some work done to them.
Then why didn't you email him prior so we could approve them at tonight's meeting?
I felt like it was a kind of a lengthy thing that I needed to discuss and that it should probably be done in the public. I know, Mr. Stubbs, you like those things in the public, so I am doing that in the public.
Again, you could have emailed to let us know what the issue was prior, and we could have approved the minutes if there was an issue, but I guess we will wait a month and do it. So whatever.
All right, Mr. Houston, is there anything else?
We have the financial reports that I've also sent to you ahead of time. You have the fund status report as of the end of May. You have the cash summary by fund as of the end of May, and you have all of the payments that were made during the month of May. And if I could get a motion to approve the financial reports and the payments, which includes warrants number 50070 through 50097 and vouchers 260 through 337.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And that's my report. I did send you, Mrs. Reed and Mr. Stubbs, an email that included a request by the Auditor of State that we approve the work for home arrangements. I don't know whether you both had a chance to look at that. If so, we can maybe do a motion tonight, or a resolution might even be better. Or if you haven't had a chance to look at it and think about it, it can wait till next month.
I have not looked over those. When did you send them out, Mr. Houston?
Saturday.
I'm sorry, I was traveling on Saturday, so I probably just totally overlooked them. If it's okay, if not, I can try to look over them quickly. Is it something that is going to hinder between now and our next month's meeting?
Not at all. It can be approved next month.
Okay, thank you.
And that's everything I have.
All right, thank you. Chief.
Good evening. I have nothing to report. I did see that Mr. Heasted had sent out an email memo about the upcoming administrative assistant or police clerk's job. Mrs. Rohrbeck and I have already begun working on what qualifications we're seeking in an eligible candidate. So we have begun at least working on coming up with something that we can put out probably, I'm going to guess, in August, so that we could look at hiring someone in the fall that could work alongside Mrs. Rohrbeck and learn kind of on the job. And I just wanted to let you guys know that that was already in the works. But that is all I have.
Mr. Anzik, was the date he put on that email for her retirement correct? I believe it was the end of the year through, so December 31st, 2020.
Yeah, my understanding. That or January 1st, 2021.
Okay.
I know it's right at the end of the year, yes.
Okay. Okay. I think that's something that, obviously she does a lot and we need to get someone trained in there. So that would be good.
That's why we're trying to get something together. And like I said, it'd probably be 1st of August when we put it out. Probably a couple weeks to allow people to apply. And then go through the hiring process. And then that way, I'm sorry.
What, the applicants would come before the trustees as well? Or since it's a police administrator and a trash?
That I don't know about the trash side of it, but yeah, I would assume that it's somebody that we'd all want. So, but yeah, as far as the police side of it, there are certain qualifications that someone that was solely doing trash might not qualify for due to the information that they work with. So we've, got to narrow that all down and so that we can put it out when we post the job.
All right. Thank you.
That's all I have.
And the trustees will have to approve the hire of whoever takes those positions.
I was just wondering if we were part of the interview process or the selection process, or if it was just presented to us as a hire. So, all right, Mr. Holbrook.
I have nothing to report this evening.
Mr. Holbrook, Mudlick Road, is it doing well, or do you have any news on that?
We are still in the process of trying to choke off the excessive bleeding of the asphalt that has started to work its way up through the pavement. I have been in contact with the contractor, Miller Mason, which I emailed you about.
Yes.
I also have a meeting coming up. He was possibly going to stop by today. He was the lead chemist for Terry Industries, which is the company that actually makes the material. And he was going to try to give us some suggestions on what could possibly be done to make it better and not worse.
Okay.
We're still in the process of every day going down there and spreading new material on top to try to soak up and tame down the tracking. So I apologize for anybody that's been associated with that mess. Trust me, I'm not real happy about it, but we're doing all we can to try to remedy the situation.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for keeping us informed. I know you've sent a few emails about it. So
No problem.
Just checking on the status.
All right, thank you.
And then Mrs. Sewell.
Yes, so I hope everybody got my report that I sent out earlier this afternoon. I have approved a pool for Jamaica. I've got a shed pending on Seagull. And then I have several things that people have erected prematurely. I think it just has to do with, a lot of people are home, not at work. They want to get things done, get a jump on everything for the summer, and just not knowing, that yes, indeed, you do have to say, hey, I want to put a building up, stuff like that. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on, there are several pools in the township that do not meet the standards and or do not have a permit for them. So I'm working with those homeowners as well to get all of that taken care of. That's all.
All right, thank you. All right, so Chief Antic already touched on one of mine. I was going to bring up the retirement of Mrs. Rohrback, but he's already taken care of that. My only other thing to go over, last meeting there was quite a discussion over the Fouts Fund, and I looked into that thoroughly. I spoke with the director and the assistant director of the Fouts, or not Fouts Fund, I apologize, of Sunshine in a Bag. They are currently giving out 260 bags a month, 130 bags every 2 weeks. During the school year, they gave out 86 bags a week, or 345 bags a month. So currently the need for children is actually down by 84 bags a month. During the bags during a regular school year are down from previous years even. So there were 86 bags this year. It was 120 bags last year, and they have even had as high as 180 bags. This is a week. So just the overall need, she says it fluctuates. In some years it's really high, like 180. And this year, for some reason, it was down to 86. And because they split it out instead of doing it every week, every 2 weeks, it even cut that in half. I had received some emails saying that the need is great and the need is now. Children should not go hungry because of political reasons. I've looked into it. I've called her. The need is not now. She actually said she does not know where the request for money came from, that they did not need money. And she said maybe in August or September they would need money, but they were just given from the Fouts Fund $1,000 in March. So she was a little taken aback and I'll say offended or upset. She said it made them kind of look bad that they were not managing their money correctly if they're already asking for another $1,000. So I told her that we would consider them again in August or September, and I would get in contact with her when we got close to when she thought they would need money. So right now it is not great. The need is down. So I just wanted to touch base. I know I said I would look into that, and I spent quite a bit of time. I know she emailed, and so the trustees received that email with information about that. And if there's anything else, I'm sure that we will get more information. I will happily pass that along. The other thing is I attended, since Mr. Stubbs is no longer, or I'm sorry, Mr. Burns is no longer a trustee, I attended the park board meeting. I was asked to attend the park board meeting. They have made a decision about the parade that's going to be happening on July 4th. So they asked that I not share that yet until they have a chance to write a letter and do that. So I'm going to be respectful of their wishes. I specifically asked if I could, and they asked me not to. So I'm sure it will come out soon enough. But it was a very short, I think it only lasted 8 or 10 minutes just to discuss that possibility of a parade. So that is, let me double check, but I believe that is all I had. Some people that they considered for a grand marshal, and they are going to be getting in contact with them, sending them a letter and possibly a plaque or some fashion so that they're aware. I believe, I'm just looking back over my notes. I just have one question for Mr. Heaston. Have you received physical resumes for anyone yet for the open position?
I'm going to withhold for that until the end of the week. And
Okay.
then I will send everything to you and to Mr. Stubbs all at one time.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was misunderstanding. I thought that we were going to get them when they came, but that's perfectly fine. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you. Mr. Stubbs.
The cemetery is looking great. Thanks to Mark and his staff for all they do down there. Looking fantastic job, even despite the weather. The pool opens tomorrow. So with residency restrictions and guidelines from the state of Ohio. So I believe you have to show proof of residency if you show up. It's credit card only, and there's other restrictions as well. So you can check out the pool's Facebook page for those or call. I'd like to thank Chief Anzik for his lockdown reports. It's always nice to get a laugh or information in the mornings. And really just thank the entire police force for what they're doing. We have a pretty fantastic police department here at German Township that goes above and beyond on a daily basis. So just kudos to them. I do have a couple questions though. Who exactly did you speak with for the Fouts Fund, Abra?
I spoke with Angie Smith, and then we received an email from the other Mrs. Smith, and Julie Smith. Yes, I believe you received that email as well.
Did. So they've pretty much depleted their inventory. So when school starts in August, they're going to need funding again, it sounds like. So it's while they do service less kids, the need still is there. I feel like you miscategorized what they said just a little bit. So just to get that out in the open. But one thing I think we need to discuss tonight, and not knowing the number of applicants, we may need to look at having the meeting in a different location. Last meeting, our room was pretty much at capacity. So where that may be, I don't know. I do know the school's still closed, so that's most likely not an option. A church possibly. But if there's going to be a significant number of applicants for this position, our township room will not hold a meeting. So not sure what your thoughts are on that one.
I know the senior center, I don't think the senior center is much larger than the township room. That was the first thing that popped into my mind, but I don't believe it size-wise would hold that many more people. I'm not sure how many applicants we've had, so I think that's going to decide that as well. I'm trying to think of churches that are open. I know a lot of churches are still doing the virtual churches and virtual services, so I'm not sure which ones would even be open to the possibility of allowing us to have that.
If I may interject, I would expect that we will probably have more people on the 17th than we had last Monday at that meeting. And I think that might be an appropriate thing to move it to a larger venue. And if you would like, I can make some calls tomorrow or the next day and get back to the two of you with what I've learned from the churches and any other large venue I can find in town.
I think that's fine. If you can find a location, please do.
Okay. Yes, and if they're willing, to have all of us there too.
Sure. Let me make some calls tomorrow, and I will contact both of you after I've got some information.
All right, thank you.
Do you have any information on the senior bus since it's moved from the senior center to the city building?
I don't know. It has been sitting there for quite a few weeks. We have not had a senior center meeting in quite a while, actually. They've, as you're aware, they haven't had their normal meetings. They only pulled this park board one because of the need for the parade. I'm sure that's why they had the pool one as well, but they have not, I don't believe the senior center's open. So they have not had any meetings, so I have not been updated on that.
Okay, just back to the Fouts bus real quick, Fouts Fund real quick. No one ever insinuated that the Sunshine in a Bag misused their money. that's just totally from out of nowhere. The need still is here in this community, and it's kind of disappointing where that went, but hopefully we'll have more to go on and we can get them some more funding in August. It was set up that we could give up to $2,000 a year. We're in a national pandemic, probably hopefully once in a lifetime. It just seemed like a fitting time if there was ever going to be one. So we will hopefully discuss this next month with a full board. And that concludes my report.
All right, do you have any other business, any new business to discuss? I don't believe so. Do we have any other old business that we need to discuss?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If we move the location of the next meeting, how are we going to get that out to the public? Should we put that in the newspaper, or are we just going to post it on the window at the township office?
Question.
We will use the same process we've used for each of our meetings recently. We will do emails to the newspaper as well as to the city. They will post it on their website, their Facebook page. We will post it on our Facebook page at the police department and our website here. And we will also have Lori send it to her extensive list of township residents who request to be notified of activities such as this.
Okay.
And I would also ask the applicants, I assume on their resume of some fashion have put their email address, if we could also let them know, because if they've applied, it's critical that they know where the meeting place is at, obviously. So we would want to make sure they find out.
Absolutely, I'll make sure.
Yeah. Yes. Is there anything else? That was a good point, Mrs. Sewell. All right, if I don't see anyone coming forward, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:28.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.